Welcome to the Golden Hour with me, your host, The Golden Dawn. Welcome to the Golden Hour podcast with me, Dawn, aka The Golden Dawn. So thank you already for those of you who are watching this episode 0 on YouTube, and thank you to the new listeners that are out there on iTunes. I appreciate you tuning in and seeing if you'd like to subscribe. So of course, most of you are here wondering what we're even doing. What is this Golden Hour podcast? So if you've already been following me at I Am Golden Dawn on Instagram, you'll know that I have been cultivating some of my favorite affirmations and quotes and some of my own personal little mantras out there, just in tune with keeping my manifestation mindset, which is what this podcast is about. So the tagline that I wrote for this one, and let me read it to quote it. So that is, keeping a manifestation mindset in a world full of limitations. That's my direct tagline that I thought would be perfect for this show. So you're going to join me as I guide you through some of the more transformative moments in like your everyday life that you can use for growth and manifestation. So if anybody knows me in real life, you know that I am that person who is always looking for the, how do you spin this? What's the silver lining? What's the lesson that we're learning? How do we make this a growth moment? You know, that's like, my MO right there. So I figured, why not take some of those anecdotal stories and tell you how I kept my manifestation mindset, or how I wish that I had kept my manifestation mindset in dealing with certain things. And hopefully my lessons can also be used towards your life and maybe some of the things that you're going through. So to start off, I think that your first question might be, well, who am I to be giving anybody any advice on anything? So I'm just your average, married for over a decade, mother of 3. I am a teacher, I am a nonprofit owner, and I am also a published author. So I think that, and for those of you curious, I'm 37 years old, so I'm almost at that grand 40 age that women get to. You'll hear me talk all the time about how obsessed I am with being close to 40. I think that is just the golden age for a woman, and I just feel like I am really moving towards that in who I want to be and who I'm going to be and who I see myself, all that jazz. But 40 is super exciting for me, so I like to I put that out there because sometimes I think that 40 gets a bad rap, but I think that we're just looking at it wrong. But that's just my opinion. So in all of this, I will be talking about ways that I have navigated keeping my spiritual mindset, even with some of the trials and tribulations of playing those different roles in life. So I keep referring to a manifestation mindset, and somebody might be like, what exactly is she referring to with a manifestation mindset? I want to be clear that although when we think of manifesting, we often think about just getting things in general, like how do you just obtain things. While that, yes, can be manifestation, I think that manifestation is a little bit deeper than that, in the way that when you're manifesting it, I believe, and all of this is just my opinion and this is how I come at life, but I believe that we should always be working for the better good of all of humanity at once. And with that being said, when we're trying to manifest and gain things in life, if we're gaining things in life that will potentially help other people, that's when you are in that alignment pocket. And when you're in alignment, that means that what you want as a human and what the universe wants from you as your gift to give back to humanity, they're in alignment. So one thing I remember, I would hear people kind of talking about, well, what if what the creator wants me to do was not something that I want to do? That's actually not in alignment then. The creator would never want you to be miserable. That's not a thing that we have to do here. Our only job is to spread that positive energy, leave a higher vibrational pattern, and have a joyful experience while doing it. I don't know who's told this grand lie that life involves some form of suffering, but it doesn't. It doesn't have to. And we'll get back to just the point of suffering in like 2 seconds. I had another thing that I keep a lot of notes just to make sure that I keep it clear, because I'm the kind of person who's like, ooh, a thought, and I'll go after it. So for all of you watching on YouTube, you're watching me like glance down at my notes to make sure that I keep this thing on track. But the point in life is remembering that life is not about pain or suffering, only growth. So when you do feel that pain and that suffering, that's your soul's emotional read, basically. So while we feel sad and happy and things as human, your soul feels that pain and that suffering as the soul's emotion. And we know that our emotions and our feelings and our senses are there to tell us that there's potential danger out there. So when your soul is suffering or in pain, that's because it's going through this a danger. Something is affecting it right there, and it's telling you that something's wrong. It's telling you that you're out of alignment. So when you feel pain and suffering and you feel it in that like horrible woe is me way, it's because your soul is trying to tell you that you're out of alignment. And once you get back into alignment, you feel that immense sense of relief. You've all felt it, where you feel everything is going astray. And as soon as you feel yourself tap back into that universal presence, all of a sudden you're like, whew, I can breathe again. And then you're moving out of that pain and suffering and into that growth and that lesson of it. And so that's the aim for all of these scenarios that I'll be going through with this podcast. The goal is to make sure that instead of feeling any of those like emotions and feelings that get in the way of us just knowing and manifesting our greater good, that we can identify them for what they really are, which are the pre-chosen lessons that we've had before we even come back into this world as these new souls. But again, all of this we will get into. So this is just the letting you know what to expect. And so there's just a lot. You can tell right now that there's so many different areas that we can delve into. So in part of the formatting for this podcast, you can expect that I will start every episode with a little anecdotal story from either my life or somebody who's allowing me to give their story in this anecdote. So I will use these different like setups to show like these regular things that might happen, like me in a struggle with my husband, or me with a struggle with my teenage child, or something of that sort, and just how to remember that manifestation mindset even in those moments, because I definitely do utilize this mindset in raising my children and how I interact with my family, my friends. I'm always trying to keep that mindfulness of how am I affecting that person, how am I affecting the greater good, how am I in alignment when I speak to people. And so I think that is one of the harder lessons for people to really get into as they are becoming a more spiritually minded person. And I think that mindset gets a bad rap as a person who only lives positively and only never gets upset. And I think that's not true. It's just a matter of training your emotional habits to react a certain way. And all of this we'll see step by step. So, I'm not just talking it, but I'm walking it, or at least trying my best to walk it and working on walking it better every day. We're also going to not just use those stories to set up what that particular lesson for me was, or that lesson for that person who's allowing me to share that story was, but also on ways that we can move forward and kind of conquer that speed bump again and be able to take it over that next time. Because out there, if you have a lesson out there that needs to be learned, you're never going to stop getting it presented to you until you learn it. So if you're tired of getting into a certain speed bump, if you're tired of being in this habitual spin of something, whatever it may be, the only way to get for it to stop is to learn the lesson and get through it. And so I'll be giving practical things that I've tried or I've done, or mindsets that I have shifted towards in making those changes. And lastly, in every episode, I will be going through a quick grounding meditation towards the end. Just nothing too deep, nothing too intense, just something to just bring us back to that mindfulness in that moment. And as well as a guided meditation like a longer guided meditation. For those of you who have been following me on Instagram, you know that through this summer we've given out 2 or 3 guided meditations during the full moon, and I'd love to do that on a regular basis here for both the people on YouTube that are watching as well as the subscribers on iTunes who are listening. So you should be able to expect that also. One thing that's what I'd love to do is give out those guided meditations. I think that they're just really helpful to everyone, and it's really awesome to know that you are linked up on that one mindset with so many other people who are also sharing that moment with you. I don't know, guided meditations are special that way. So this was just a short episode 0, just to let you know what to expect with episode 1. Lucky you, I am about to tape episode 1 right now. So if you've liked this and you like what you're hearing, please go ahead and subscribe. Obviously, if you need to hear a few more to see if this is really up your alley, that makes sense. Yes. But please subscribe if you're interested. And I can't wait to share so many of these different life adventures with you. Have a super blessed day, and I'll see you on episode 1.